Yo, what's going on? This your boy Great Vibes on 10 for the win. Y'all, I need y'all to hear this out. So earlier this year, Shelly and Allie uh told their inner support group that podcasters, including myself and another individual, because we was challenging their stories, they was told to make false CPS reports against our families. I want y'all to listen up. Pay attention.
Really indicated to me. And I'm just going to give you my experiences in the group. I'm not even going to talk about information about Allie and Shelly. It's just what happened in the group. One of those things was that the group, the 90s group, was given a directive from one of the heroes. They went in there. I sent GV the screenshots. I have 20 screenshots that show. They went in there and they told them they had done a little bit of background work on the podcasters that were talking about them because they wanted to see what they could find out about them or what could they use against them in order to get them quiet, right? That's the game out here. And when they found out who the people were, they started digging deep. What can we do? And they were basically doing like a, talking to the group and throwing out ideas. Well, one of the ideas was, I guess there had been some mention of a conversation about Great Vibes talking about his children. And they spun that. I don't know, it had something to do with discipline. I did not see it. I do not know what it was. But they used that and they went into the room and they told, it was over 250 people in that room at the time, that they were going to go ahead and what they should do is that they should reach out to CPS to get the paperwork started and get an investigation started. They said they didn't think that the kids would be removed, but that there was no harm in doing a little investigation. At that specific time, when I saw that taking place, I jumped in. I was not very active in the group, but I saw that. I had been a person who had been, who had somebody had made a call on CPS on me. I fought it. It was frivolous. It never stood. I had it taken away. So I was a little bit emotional about it because I knew that you can't just play around with shit like that. You can't call and make false allegations. I'm also a mandated reporter, so I also knew what the guidelines were, what you needed to see. So I quickly jumped in there. All the screenshots have gone to GV, and I said, before you guys start making calls, let's see this video you're talking about. Well, it was a frenzy in there. Nobody could find the video. Nobody knew what the hell they were talking about. Nobody even knew who they were calling on. There was all kinds of conflicting information. They were going to call on this person. They were going to call on the other podcaster. I said, you guys, you can't do that. All in writing. He's got the screenshots. I said, and then I had a couple people pushing back on me. And they didn't know who I was. They didn't know that I stood close to them. So they were, just thinking I was another person in the room. And I was like, no, you cannot do that. Well, you can call anonymously. I said, you can't call them anonymously. You still have to give your name. They don't have to tell the other party who called, but you still have to tell them who you are. And then if you come to find out that you called, and it was fake or, not true, they can go ahead and turn around and file charges against you. You think 250 people in a room, you're not going to get 25, 30 people doing that shit? First of all, that's going to be a red flag. Nobody's going to believe that shit anyway. But what kind of an annoyance and nuisance, not to mention a felony, to do that?
So I want y'all to understand. We talk about Miss Outlaw and how Miss Outlaw told her story about how she had issues with CPS. Now they are telling their people, Shelly and Allie is telling their people, hey, because Great Vibes and other podcasters are asking questions, they're speaking out against us. I want y'all to call CPS and file false reports against them. Let me know what you think in the comments. This your boy Great Vibes on 10 for the motherfucking win.